Many years ago, when I was a child, there was an old abandoned structure near our neighborhood called the Pump House. It stood on a large stretch of wild land everyone simply called Raven Hill. Long ago, the building had controlled the water supply for the nearby homes. But by the time we were kids, it had already been abandoned for decades. The pump house was made of dark bricks, with a faded slate roof. Rusted metal doors hung loosely from their hinges, and almost every window had been shattered by kids throwing rocks over the years. Even though it was just an old building, it always felt wrong. The strange thing was, even our parents remembered being afraid of it when they were young. They used to tell us stories about the place, warning us not to go too close. Of course, that only made us more curious. One summer afternoon during school holidays, several of my cousins were staying at my grandmother's house. The older cousins, Jake, Daniel, and Mark, were teenagers. The rest of us were younger and full of energy. After a morning of us running around, annoying the adults, Jake finally said, "All right, that's enough. Let's take them blackberry picking near the river." Our grandmother happily agreed. Within half an hour, we all had small buckets in our hands and were walking across Raven Hill toward the blackberry bushes that grew near the water. To get there, we had to pass 2 fences and, unfortunately, the old pump house. As we walked, the older cousins did what they always did. They told scary stories. Sometimes they made things up, just to scare us. But when the pump house came into view, the jokes stopped. Everyone became quiet. Even the older boys avoided looking directly at it. Something about that building made the air feel colder. There was an old story about that place that everyone in the area knew. Years earlier, sometime in the late 1960s, a group of violent bank robbers had fled the city after a robbery went wrong. During the escape, someone was killed and several people were injured. The story claimed the criminals hid inside the pump house while trying to avoid the police. Months later, when the building was finally searched, 3 bodies were discovered inside. No one ever fully explained what happened. After that, strange things supposedly started happening around the building. People reported hearing strange whispers at night. Some claimed to see shadowy figures moving near the pipes inside the structure. Others described a terrible damp smell, like rotting plants near a river. Over time, locals simply avoided the area. Eventually, we reached the blackberry bushes near the river. The afternoon passed quickly. We filled our buckets, 8 more berries than we collected, and splashed around in the shallow water. By the time the sun started lowering in the sky, it was time to head home. That meant passing the pump house again. As we approached the second fence near the building, the air suddenly felt heavy and still, almost like the moment before a thunderstorm. Mark helped lift my small wheelchair over the fence while the others climbed through. That's when Jake suddenly froze. He stared toward the back of the pump house. "Did you see that?" he whispered. Daniel frowned. "See what?" Jake didn't answer right away. Then he quietly said, "I'm going to check." Jake walked a few steps toward the pump house. We watched nervously. Then suddenly, he screamed. Not the kind of scream someone makes as a joke. This was pure fear. Jake ran back toward us as fast as he could. "Run!" Daniel shouted. Everything happened at once. Daniel grabbed my wheelchair and folded it while running. Mark lifted me onto his shoulders. The other kids grabbed each other's hands. We ran across Raven Hill without stopping. Behind us, Jake kept shouting, "Don't look back, just run." But curiosity got the better of me. I looked, and I saw nothing. Only the dark outline of the pump house in the distance. We didn't stop running until we reached the road near our neighborhood. Everyone was exhausted. Daniel leaned against the fence and finally asked, "Jake, what did you see?" Jake was breathing heavily. Then he said something that made every one of us freeze. I swear, it was looking at me. What was? Mark asked. Jake swallowed. Then he whispered, 2 yellow eyes and a face covered in hair. When we got home, the adults noticed we looked shaken. But Daniel quickly told them we had just been scared by a strange man hiding in the bushes. The adults accepted the explanation. But among us kids, we never forgot what Jake said he saw. To this day, none of us knows what was really watching from behind that old pump house on Raven Hill. And none of us ever went near it again. A few years ago, actually I was about 8 at the time, my family moved into this old house just outside a small town in New York. And I don't know how to explain it, but from day one, that place just felt off. It was way too big for us. Long hallways, creaky floors, and this cold, unfinished basement that I absolutely hated. I never went down there unless someone was with me. Around that time, the school system was kind of messed up. So even though my brother and I were close in age, we went to different schools, different timings, different buses. So every morning, I was the last one to leave the house. And every afternoon, I was the first one to get back, which meant I was alone, a lot. My mom gave me one simple responsibility: make sure all the lights were off and the doors were locked before I left. Sounds easy, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Until one morning, I noticed the basement door was open. Not just a little bit, like fully open. And the light down there was on. Now, I was sure nobody had gone down there that morning, but I didn't think much of it. I just walked over, reached for the switch, turned the light off, and slowly closed the door. But I remember pausing for a second, because for some reason, it felt like I wasn't alone. I just ignored it and left for school. When I got back home that afternoon, everything seemed normal at first. Quiet. Too quiet, actually. Then I looked down the hallway, and my stomach just dropped. The basement door was open again, and the light was on. I just stood there for a moment, staring at it, trying to convince myself I probably forgot to close it properly in the morning. Yeah, it had to be it. So I slowly walked toward it, step by step, and when I reached the top of the stairs, I didn't go down. I just leaned forward slightly and looked, and that's when I saw him. At the bottom of the stairs, there was a man, tall, completely still, just standing there in the dark. I couldn't see his face. It was just a shadow shaped like a person, but I knew he was looking right at me. I froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. And then suddenly, I just panicked. I slammed the door shut as hard as I could. I grabbed whatever was around me, boxes, shoes, anything, and pushed it against the door, like that was somehow going to stop him. Then I ran to my room, jumped into my closet, and just hid there. For hours, I never told anyone. Not my mom, not my brother, no one. Because in my head, there was only one explanation. I thought it was a ghost. And I knew if I told anyone, they wouldn't believe me. But after that day, things started to feel even worse. At night, I'd hear sounds like footsteps. Sometimes doors would creak open on their own, and every now and then I'd see that basement light on again, glowing from under the door. And I would just pretend I didn't see it. Months passed like that. I just learned to live with the fear. Then about a year later, my mom started noticing something strange. Money was going missing. At first, it was small amounts, $10, maybe $20, but it kept happening, again and again, until one day, she realized almost $900 had disappeared over time. That's when things got serious. One night, we all grabbed flashlights and started searching the house. Every room, every corner, trying to figure out how someone could be getting in. At first, nothing made sense. Everything looked locked, secure. But then, we found something outside. A small hole near the bottom of the house, barely noticeable, just big enough for someone to crawl through. It led into a tight crawl space, and from there, straight into the basement. And in that moment, everything hit me, all at once. That wasn't a ghost. That man I saw, he was real. He had been sneaking into our house for months, living under us, watching us, taking money, and at least once, standing just a few feet away from me. While I was completely alone, I never told him what I saw that day, even after they found everything, even after the police came, because honestly, I didn't want to relive it. But sometimes, I still think about that moment, standing at the top of those stairs, looking down and realizing if I had taken just one more step, things could have turned out very differently. It was about 3 years ago, back when I still lived in a quiet neighborhood just outside of Ridgewood, Ohio. Nothing ever really happened there. No crime, no weird neighbors, no strange stories. At least, that's what I thought. 2, one night, my parents left the house around 8 p.m. They said they were going out to pick up a few things, birthday gifts, I think. I didn't ask too many questions. I was 16, and honestly, I was just happy to have the house to myself. Around 10 p.m., I let my dog, Max, out into the backyard. It was one of those nights where everything felt off, too quiet. No wind, no cars, not even crickets, just silence. A few minutes passed. Then suddenly, Max started barking. Not normal barking. This was aggressive, loud, constant. The kind of bark that makes your stomach drop. I walked over to the back door and looked outside. Max. Chill out, man. That's when I saw it. Something moving, fast. A tall, gray figure ran across the far end of my yard. Not like a person, not like an animal. It moved wrong, too smooth, too fast, like it was gliding. I froze. My brain tried to make sense of it. A shadow? Maybe? Just my eyes playing tricks. Yeah, that's what I told myself. I called Max back inside. He didn't come right away. He just stood there staring into the darkness, growling, low and deep. That was the first time. And I wish it had been the last. A few nights later, I was in my room, on my phone, lights off, just scrolling. Then I heard it. Tap, 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 on my window. I sat up. My heart instantly started racing. Okay, it's probably just one of my friends messing around. That's what I thought. I slowly walked to the window, pulled the curtain back, and looked outside. Nothing. No one. Not a single person. I even opened the window, leaning out, checking both sides. Still nothing. Then I heard it, right behind me. Not loud, not soft, just clear enough. A whistle. Slow, sharp, right, inside my room. I slammed the window shut, locked it, closed the curtains, and didn't sleep that night. After that, things got quiet again for about 2 weeks. Then my friend Jason came over. I told him everything. The figure, the knocking, the whistle. He laughed. Dude, you've been watching too many horror movies. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was just overthinking. That's when he said just something. Something I wish he never said. You know that abandoned house near Miller's Road? Let's go check it out. I should have said no, but I didn't. We went the next evening, just before sunset. The house was worse than I expected. Old, rotting, windows broken, and the front door completely jammed shut. We had to climb through a small side window. It barely fit us. As soon as we got inside, the smell hit us. It was awful, rotten, sweet, but in the worst way possible. Like something had been decaying for a long time. Jason covered his nose. Yo, what I asked that. We followed the smell, step by step, deeper into the house. Then we saw it, a black trash bag, sitting in the corner of the room. Flies, everywhere. The smell was coming from it. No doubt. Don't open that, Jason said. But I was already stepping closer. I just want to check. I don't know why I said that. Curiosity, I guess. I pulled out my pocket knife, kneeled down, reached for the bag, and then I heard it again. That same whistle, loud, clear, right behind us. We both froze. Didn't even look at each other. Jason whispered, "Hide, now." We dove under an old broken table, barely breathing. Then came the sound. Footsteps, upstairs, slow at first, then running, fast, heavy. Then the stairs. Something was coming down. Each step, crack, crack, crack. I held my breath. My heart felt like it was going to explode. The footsteps stopped, right in front of us. I couldn't help it. I had to look. Just a little. What I saw, I will never forget. A man, standing there. But not normal. Not even close. His entire body was wrapped in gray duct tape. From head to toe. Not a single piece of skin showing. No face, no eyes, nothing. Just gray. He stood completely still, for what felt like forever. Then slowly, his head turned. Toward us, I swear. Even without eyes, I knew he was looking directly at me. I stopped breathing. After about 2 minutes, he turned back and walked away, back upstairs. We didn't move, not for a long time. Finally, Jason whispered, "I think he's gone." We crawled out slowly. Every sound made us jump. We were about to leave. We should have left. But then, we looked back at the bag. That smell, it was worse now, stronger. Jason shook his head. "Don't do it." But I already knew. I had to. I cut the bag open, slowly. The smell hit us like a wall. Inside, hands, human hands, fingers, dozens of them, cut clean, pale, rotting. Jason screamed. I dropped the knife, and we ran. We didn't stop. Not until we were far from that house. We called the police, told them everything. They didn't believe us at first, but they went anyway. We took them back, showed them the house, went inside with them. The room was empty. No bag, no smell, nothing. Just one thing. A glass jar, filled with blood, sitting exactly where the bag had been. The police searched the whole place, found nothing else. No man, no evidence, no bodies. They told us it was probably a prank or animals. But I know what I saw. And sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I still hear it. That whistle, right outside my window.